right, so let's talk about the next part of the trip. Not really the next part, but the next topic of this trip, which was unicorns. So unicorns are very high vibrational, extremely high vibrational, I should say, beings who exist. We have them in our mythology. Horses with a horn, typically, just a single horn, typically. And the mythology, for the most part, is semi-accurate, I guess is the way I'd call it. So I do have a video on unicorns that goes more in depth on this prior to this video, but I don't know I don't remember what was said in that video, so I may repeat some things here and just give you a little bit of background on unicorns and what I experienced while I was in Arizona. And so they do exist. They are higher vibrational. It's been rare that I've found them around clients. I typically find them in my client readings, doing spirit art readings, less so regular spirit art readings, more so divine counsel transmissions. They don't, I think maybe one has come through for all the regular spirit art readings I've done, and they come through every other divine counsel transmission, or a Pegasus will come through, or something of that nature, of the sky realms, as we call them, and section them off on those readings. So these beings do exist. In the mythology, there's mythology about them being on Earth, being very aggressive, and knights would have to go into the woods to fight them and kill them, and they would hunt them, sort of thing. And the only way that they could hunt them is they would take a woman who was pure, meaning a virgin woman who was pure, of pure energy. And I've always felt that story, that part of the tale, wasn't about them being a virgin, but about them being of pure energy, pure heart. Because in working with these beings, you don't have to be a pure person. You just have to be a high vibrational energy, very high vibrational energy, who can handle them, who can access them. And so that's kind of the take I have on that story of knights taking these virgins out and putting them under trees, and they would sit the virgin under a tree, and the unicorn would see them and would calm down instantly, go up to them, lay down, put the head in the lap, and the virgin would like be petting it or being nice to it, whatever, and the knight would come up and then kill it. So it was it's a very dark kind of story for them, but it resonates. The more I learn about them, the more they talk to me, it resonates as being a symbolic version of what actually happened. And I feel like that part of the story with the woman was actually taking a high vibrational woman, somebody who was in their heart space, loving, pure in that kind of way, and taking them into the woods, and them being like, the unicorn being like, oh, you're a high vibrational person, I'm gonna come talk to you, versus seeing a knight who is very low vibrational. Knights are warriors, they're murderous, they do not have a good rap from back in the day. Very low vibrational energies. So there are a bunch of stories, though, about unicorns that you can research, and that's the main one I like to share with people, is that medieval storytelling of the unicorns. It's the one most people know too. I feel like most people know that one, but it's the core of unicorn mythology, I would say, that I've recognized throughout the years. Now, I've met two on my own. I met one, I believe, in a dream space years and years ago. I don't remember when or where, but it was a brown shaggy one, very, very shaggy, like, is it Snuffleupagus? I don't know, there's a character coming to mind, and I can't think of the name of the character, but a very brown, shaggy version of a unicorn. And then I met a white one in the woods. I believe I was in Pittsburgh. I'm not positive. I believe I was outside of Pittsburgh camping and met this one that had come. I was in my tent, I think, and it had come to me and started talking to me. So I go out to Arizona, and I'm not expecting any of these beings. I'm going to readjust this camera here just a bit. I'm not expecting any of these beings to appear to me to be coming. Like, I went out there for sunlight and for work, basically. And so I get out there, and I don't know the timing in my mind, like the linear time. I don't remember the linear timing. I'd have to look at my notes and journals, but it was after I met the trickster indigenous man and the coyotes and had some of those experiences, that I want to say it was the night, potentially the night the UFO came and chased the coyotes off, that a lot of other things were happening too. And it was either that night or maybe the next night. That doesn't matter, I guess. It doesn't really matter. I'm trying to bring it into a linear human perspective, and that really just doesn't matter. So one of the nights I'm in the tent and these beings are coming to me, and I roll over and I see, I want to say it was 3 unicorns in my third eye standing outside of my tent, off to the side, and I can feel their energy there. And I'm like, wait a second, that can't be right. Like, why would I be seeing that? I'm in the middle of the desert. Unicorn mythology takes place, like the medieval stuff, it's always in the forest, in the woods, in the mountains, by the streams. I'm in the middle of the desert. There's nothing around. And there's 3 unicorns there. There's a white one, a black one, a blue one. And then it's almost like if you see those 3 first, the white one leading them, and then almost like there were faded versions of others, like a herd. I don't know if you call horses a herd, but like there was a herd of them, or whatever you call horses, which I assume would apply to unicorns. But they were faded, much more faded. Like those 3 were presenting, but I could tell there were others around that were walking this higher dimensional space that was overlaid on the desert. Now, they came to me and they were like, we're protecting you. We're here to protect you. We want to talk to you. So they started talking to me, which I'll get to in a second. But they were just there protecting me, introducing themselves, seeing how I'd react, noticed that I was a very high vibrational human on this land that just normally has low vibrational activity, as I discussed in one of the other videos. And I just lost my train of thought. So they're outside my tent. They're talking to me. I could see a white one, a black one, and I believe it was a blue one. And there was like, I feel like there was like a red and maybe a greenish one faded out in the distance as I'm trying to remember this. But the white one started talking to me, and I don't remember everything they said, but I remember them talking about, like I had asked, where do you live? I think I asked something like, where did you come from? Because we're in the desert. Like, where did you come from? And they told me this story. Now, again, I speak on the things that I'm told by these beings. A lot of them have their own origin stories, meaning not all of them have the same origin the way our mythology does. Our mythology oftentimes just takes a group and this is the origin for all of those beings. This is the origin for all of those beings. It doesn't work that way. So these unicorns told me how their ancestry, essentially, their energetic ancestry or whatever it was, is existing in that space today on the desert. And what they said, because I relayed this story too of the medieval knights and that sort of thing, and I got this they were like, well, it's kind of true. I was like, wait, what? What are you talking about? And they go, they used to physically exist on the land, to physically exist, like walk around, like they actually physically existed on the land. But then humans started to hunt them. Humans started to kill them. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I mean, we do that to everything. Like, why wouldn't we do that to that type of being? And we've probably done it to all kinds of other beings that, I can get into in other videos about my views on certain extinct animals that most likely had human intervention. But unicorns were one of those very high vibrational animals that they said that they used to live on the land. Humans started to attack them, and they started to die, and they started to die off. And they came together and said, well, we need to leave this space. We're not going to live. We're not going to survive. What do we do? And what they showed me was a mountain, and they were called to this mountain. And so they like go up to this mountain, to the very, very top, almost to the peak, and there's a cave or a hollow or something at the top of it, and a portal there, a portal of energy. And we went up to the top of this mountain, and we looked down and said, see you later, see you, planet Earth, dimension of humans, no, I shouldn't say planet Earth, but the dimension of humans on planet Earth, goodbye. And they walked through that portal, and they came out on a sky layer. I always call them like sky beings, the unicorns, because the layer they show me is in the sky. The dimensional layer exists higher than us. But if you go into the mountains, because it's higher than us, closer to the seafloor, you go high into the mountains, it's actually, that dimension is like right with the ground. Now, where I was staying was actually really close to sea level, which was part of why I was confused. But however the land was formed where they were at, they were there. They were existing beside my tent in that campsite space, that desert space. And so they were telling me how they went in through this portal, came out into this other dimension, and basically ascended into this other dimension to save their kind for this group that was there for this group. I don't know if that's like the totality of them, if that happened with all of them, or if it was just like a group did that this group did that type of thing. But they went in and did that. And so I talked to them for a little bit, got used to their energies, and rolled over and went to bed like I normally do. Probably traveled with them, I don't know, astrally, or if anything happened at night while I was dreaming. I had a lot of vivid, crazy, insane dreams while I was out there, in between the moments that I was waking up to all kinds of different beings. So I go out and I'm collecting dragon stones, and I keep feeling called, and I don't remember I don't think I talked about the dragon eggs and stuff before this video, so that'll be in the next video. But at a certain point on this trip, I get called out to collect crystals and stones from the beings to take back with me. And the unicorns had started pointing out these white it's not marble, but white stones, and I'm not a geologist. I want to say like thick pieces of calcite maybe, or not quartz, but like really, really opaque white stones mixed with blacks and some reds, and I don't have any of them right beside me, but so they had me pick up a couple of these, and a couple of them were big, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with this? Because, I don't know what to do with these rocks, and I don't normally take all these rocks home with me, which for anybody who's seen Adopt a Spirit, that was the purpose. If you haven't seen the Adopt a Spirit program, that's on my website, awakenwithwillow.com, and it's about bringing energies into other people's homes that are fairies, dragons, gnomes, potentially the unicorns. I don't know if those are going to be part of that or if I'm just going to save those for people that I know are connected, because those are very, very special energies. So they had me pick up some stones to bring back with me. And anytime I intuitively, or for the most part, I shouldn't say anytime, because sometimes I would be like, look, I'm not picking up another rock right now. I've got plenty of these. I got a big box in my corner right now that has everything, and I don't know how I'm going to get rid of all of them. Now, I said that when I went to New Mexico years ago, and the gnomes gave me all these rocks, and I'm almost, I mean, it took me a year and a half, 2 years, but I'm almost out of those. So I'm sure I'll get rid of all these between the Adopt a Spirit program and anything else that they come up with to help get them into people's hands. So these unicorns are out there, very peaceful energies, loving energies. The white one was definitely the leader, the primary, the herd. I don't know the animal behavior terms for them, but is definitely the leader of the group. The black one was very protective, strong, defensive, and the blue one I didn't feel into very much. It was the white. I talked to the white one, and then the black one was around for quite a long time. And the black one looked like, I'm talking like the race horses, the really, really black Arabian race horses that almost like have a I don't know, they're just so black that they have like a shine to them. They're beautiful. They're just devoid of color completely. Like, you know, if anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, you'll understand what I'm trying to get to. And the one night I go out and I get home, I get back, I do my offering. So if you watch the other videos, remember offerings are number one when you travel. Make an offering to the land, make an offering to the space on and off throughout your day, especially if you're being given gifts or if something comes, or you leave and you come back and it's protected. Make an offering. Build that relationship with the land. Make those offerings so the beings see you, because you're not just offering to the spirit of the land. You're showing everything. Like the unicorns were watching me. The dragons were watching me. I didn't know they were there the first day. I didn't know they were there. I mean, it probably took 2-3 days for the unicorns to reveal themselves, and the dragons took at least 2 days before I knew it was dragons pulling me. My guides were kind of being intermediaries for them at first, telling me what to do. The only one that revealed himself immediately was the spirit of the land, which was the trickster god. That was with the coyotes. So they don't necessarily reveal themselves right away, which is why you have to build this relationship. So I built that relationship, and I come home the one night, I get out, and I know I made an offering immediately. Now I would make offerings of like apples and different things that I had that were not necessarily just oats. I usually had fruit with me, so I'd take a piece of fruit out and just take the whole apple and go give that as an offering. And now that I'm saying that, horses love apples, type of thing. At least I believe they do. You see them in movies like eating apples and stuff. So I'm assuming. I've never really been around horses my entire life. I think I've been around horses 2 or 3 times, very brief moments. But I was leaving apples out and some other stuff, and I turned around, and in the corner of my eye now, my tent, it's pitch black out there, middle of nowhere. My tent's there. The lantern's on inside my tent. My tent's glowing like it's the only light on earth type of thing. And there's a shadow of a horse, a black shadow of a horse so it'd be my left eye as I'm turning. I turn and I see this unicorn standing beside my tent, and I'm like, did I just see that? And I got that physical like corner of my eye, there's this shadow. I look over, I see kind of a shadow, and then it fades because of our eyes filtering. Now, a lot of people think when I say I see stuff, I do see stuff. I don't necessarily see it all the time with my physical eyes. I see my peripherals a lot, and then I see more energy. Like I'll see the energy, the hazy energy of them standing there, but the vibration and the way the light works and the way some of our programming works with how our brain filters things, I don't actually see them all the time. Most of it's third eye stuff. So I see him there and I feel the energy and I look and then I can see him in my mind and there's a black unicorn standing by my tent. And I'm like, what the heck is that for? Like, why, what are you doing there? I'm outside and I'm going, okay. And the crazy thing was I always do this thing is if you see a shadow, always make sure you're not seeing an actual shadow type of thing. Like, you know, always make sure if you see an orb and like you're like me and you wear glasses, make sure it wasn't just your glasses refracting or reflecting light in some different way, and do this a bunch of times and make sure you can't recreate it so that you know for certain, oh yeah, that was a being. Now, normally people like us, we can feel it. You can feel the energy spike, you can feel the shift, you can, you know, feel that type of thing. But it's important to check those too so that, you know, especially if somebody's with you or asks you, you're like, yeah, that wasn't a shadow. The lantern was in the tent, so any shadows would have been cast outward into the desert, and this was against my tent, like the shadow. So I was like, there's definitely something there because it shouldn't be like that. It should be cast outward type of thing. So he's standing by the tent and he's literally, they're just like, we're here to protect you. And I've had spirits do that many occasions when I go to the land, that I make my offerings, I do my thing, and over the days you just start to see more of them kind of show up, and sometimes they switch. Like sometimes they'll switch out. So like maybe the unicorn was there one day and then it goes on and does its thing wherever it lives, and then something else comes through and protects it. But the spirits of the land always make sure there are protectors around that space. So I ended up having a black unicorn there for a day or two, which was really interesting because just to feel him. Now, I didn't talk to him, I didn't get many stories, but just feeling that energy beside you and knowing like, okay, yeah, I'm protected, I can go to sleep, nothing's gonna happen. Now, granted, it wasn't that nothing happened. I'll be very clear about that. All kinds of stuff happened that week. But one of the things is, and I believe this was attributed to the unicorns. There was another event that happened that I'll explain with the galactics and stuff, but I got there, and a couple days in, I was in my tent, and I was woken up by them. I forget which ones woke me up, but I was woken up by a unicorn. And I could hear them outside, and they were like, wake up, get up, you know, making noise, trying to get me to wake up. And I woke up, and I'm like, what? And they're like, your car. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're just like, your car. And I go on, and I open the tent window thing, and I'm listening, and I can hear, like, nothing visibly is wrong with the car, but I can hear this humming, and for some reason this happens in the desert. So the animals get in, and I don't know what it is, but there's some sort of sensor they trip, and I had a mouse do it on one of my trips, and it's almost every trip I've had something gets in there and does this, where the sensor goes off and the back left tire, or back right tire, passenger side tire, has this mechanism that starts to just vibrate and hum because it's been tripped, but the car is turned off. Not sure exactly what it is, but the fix to it is you just get in the car and turn the key. You don't even turn the car on, you just turn the key and turn it off, and it resets it, and it's fine. It's a computer glitchy thing, I think. And so that would have run all night long, And now I have no idea if it would have drained my battery, no idea, but the unicorns woke me up to ensure that I went and checked my car and turned it off. And then I was like, oh, great, thank you, that's awesome. And then I went back to bed. It's an example of building that relationship with the land, building that relationship with the spirits, and understanding that they have your back. Like, I would have never woken up to that. I mean, I might have at some point. It's a very faint hum, and it was one that the first time I heard it, I was in Utah, and the first time I had heard it out there, I was in the desert going, what's that noise? Where is that coming from? What is that? What's going on? Like, driving me insane because I could not figure out where this humming noise was coming from, and then realized it was coming from my car. So that now that I know, when I hear that hum, I'm like, oh, it's the car, but it's a very faint, faint hum. It's not enough to wake you up, really. So the unicorns woke me up, took care of it, thanked them, and went back to bed, and just knew that I was protected even more because, you know, like the other story I said, I had coyotes coming in, I had other beings coming in, and it just made me feel a lot more safe knowing, hey, I've got these unicorns that are protecting me, that are badass, and waking me up in the middle of the night to ensure that my things are protected and safe. So, you know, that's the encounter with the unicorns that I had. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have questions about unicorns, that type of thing. I don't know a whole lot about them. I just know I've had my experiences with them, and they're usually very brief experiences. Nothing in like real depth type of situation. But if you're interested, just, you know, shoot me a comment, and I'll see if I can answer it. For those of you who wish to support me, I have spirit art on my website. Divine Council Transmissions, Adopt a Spirit is now up and available, and I appreciate you all. I love you all. Super grateful for everybody watching. Thank you.